Hello friends. Today we have with us a new author, a poetess, Sandhya Mridul. Yes, she's the same actor, Sandhya Mridul, whom you have seen in many movies and TV series. She has now come out with a collection of verses titled Untamed. And the poems are based on the theme of love, loss, grief, healing. It will be officially launched tomorrow at the Indian Accent in the Lodi Hotel in New Delhi. So those of you who love good cinema would know her already, like I said. She has given some power-packed performances in the films like Saathiya, Page 3, Honeymoon Travels, Angry Indian Goddesses. There are many more. But for me, I remember her as Kajal, the middle-class girl who was tricked into marriage with a mentally challenged boy and how she fights her station in life. So welcome, Sandhya. It's a pleasure to be
Thank you.
talking to you today.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. We'll begin with the your book, Untamed.
Like,
So how
yeah.
did the book come about? What was it that inspired you to turn into a poetess?
So I mean, this was never really a dream, honestly speaking. I never thought. I started writing randomly, one piece here, one piece there, many years ago. But
Mm-hmm.
it was only COVID that, because I was stuck alone, and there was a lot of emotions and fear and everything running through me, that I made it a routine to sit down and journal. Whatever I was feeling, whatever. I mean, because there was so much fear and uncertainty, and especially for some of us who were locked up alone. No,
Mm-hmm.
and far away from our families. I was away. My mother was in another city. I was worried. I was scared, and I started journaling. And I just feel that the minute you start journaling is like a heart opening exercise. And everything that I'd been writing over the years suddenly started taking form, where I would journal, and I'd go to sleep at night, and I'd get up with something in my mind, and I'd quickly run. And I like to write with pen and paper, old school still. And I would quickly, put on my glasses. Sometimes I used to write in such a rush that next day I couldn't even understand what I had written, you know.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
and something started coming out, and then I think that this book is actually inspired by grief and loss and pain, because I think all of us face tremendous losses
Yeah.
through COVID, post COVID. In this post COVID world, we've lost a lot of people, and we're all
Was
going through a lot of
mm-hmm.
things. There's trauma, there's fear, there's pain, there's grief, there's anger, there's rage, there's also love. And
Mm-hmm.
I've also always been inspired by life, and I just felt that I did not want to any more shy away from the pain, or shy away from being weak or vulnerable or not okay on certain days, because I always had this image. There was so many things that one was going through, but one was always, somehow there's a conditioning of shame and guilt attached to not feeling your best and not putting your best foot forward. And this whole positivity is defined, I think, in a very obtuse manner. And I was struggling with all these things. I just felt that people did not know the real me. People did not. So I started journaling about that, and then a lot of the stuff started pouring out of me. You know, and it had no grammar, but it was a whole lot of um, writing that had some sort of rhythm of its own. And at some point, some of my friends saw some of it, and they started encouraging me to do this, but I never took it seriously, honestly speaking. Till last year, I realized that I had over 300 poems, and a friend of mine said, enough is enough. I'm talking to a publisher, and you're at least submit it. If they hate it, they'll tell you what's the problem. You have it. And I was just like, yaar, ye maine aise hi likha tha, apne liye likha hai. And I showed it, and the publisher loved it, and he said, we would love to take it. Let me tell you, but poetry is a very restricted market in this country. People don't really buy poetry. I don't want to be heartbroken if we don't do well. And I said, I'm not putting it out to do well. I'm actually putting it out because if people resonate with everything that's going on, good and bad, then they might resonate with my book. And if they resonate with my book, then I think my book might help us all, help them heal the way it's helped me heal. Because when I read back all my poetry together, I just saw the journey of my life. Um, you know, and I could identify the phases where I was really in darkness, where I was picking it up, where I was understanding, where I was becoming a little aware, when I was, breaking, when I was building. And and I just felt like responsible when you put these feelings. But at the same time, I think certain things needed to be expressed um, as honestly and authentically as possible. And I've tried to always do that as an actor as well. And I, that's, I wanted to make sure that I do this as a writer too. And suddenly I had a book, and publisher said, "We are doing it. Now give us 200, and we're going with it." And I was like, "Look, I can't choose. I can't choose. It's over to you. You choose. You tell me what you want." So this process went on. And I swear I did not think I'm going to have, I still was not really taking it seriously, honestly speaking. I was just saying, yeah, really, and then I read it back. I thought I'll edit, I'll fix it. But you can't edit feelings. You can't edit your journey. You can't
It
edit
would
what you
change
have
it.
felt.
Yeah, it would change the
Uh,
whole
it would
tenor
have
of it.
become so contrived. Yeah, it would have become contrived
Yeah.
and filtered, and
Mm,
everything that
mm,
I don't want to be as a person or as an actor or as a writer
mm,
ever.
mm,
It's not my grain to do that. So, and
mm,
I feel a sense of responsibility towards things I do. So that was my
mm,
only thing. I didn't want people. And I asked, then I bounced it off a few people, and they said it's not
mm,
something it's uplifting actually, because it's telling you everything is okay. It's telling you
mm,
that you can feel broken, but you can build it, and the fact that you've pulled out a book, such a beautiful book out of it, is itself
mm,
testimony to the fact that you can pick it up and you can do anything. And
mm,
so yeah, it was I was really pushed to come out with a book. I would have continued writing and kept it in my diary, honestly speaking.
mm.
I wouldn't have,
Yeah.
but
You
yeah,
still
I'm
have
glad it's
100
there.
poems with you. Only you said
I
that
do
only
I
200
do
have come out in this. So you're
172, I think,
continuing
are
the
out.
journey?
I intend to, but
Mm,
I I always say I'm not a writer because I can't force it. Like, there was no routine to this. You cannot force poetry. You cannot say, I'll sit down every day from 11 to 1 p.m. and I will write. Or I will sit down from 8 to
mm,
10 p.m. and I will write. You can't do that. It only comes when it
mm,
comes. So I told my
mm, mm,
publisher that. And he said, look, we'll go through what you have. And
mm,
I said, I don't know when I'm going to write next. Because right now I think so
mm,
much catharsis has happened. I need
mm,
pain to write, So um, it's a thought, nothing concrete, but I think I have another book in me.
mm. Yeah, I'm sure. But then you can always, it's not necessary that you write about pain, you can write about other emotions also.
Yeah, I have actually in this book. If you have, if I don't know if you've read it, because it's
Mhm,
about love,
mhm,
and it's about the
mhm,
various definitions of love. We
mhm,
all have, over time, the definition of love has changed. And in this
mhm,
book, you'll see how I felt about love, and at one point, and how it changed to something else and something else and something else, and how that feeling
mhm,
evolved. Your
mhm,
understanding of love evolved. So
mhm,
yeah, but I always feel that the root of poetry is pain. I don't know. That's my way of thinking. It can
okay.
flower and blossom into anything. It can become any
Mhm,
kind of flower or plant or tree or what have you. But
mhm,
in my opinion and
mhm,
my experience, the root is pain. So it's healing because I had to keep tapping and going deeper and deeper and deeper and
mhm,
deeper. And you will see that it's there in
mhm,
the book. And
mhm,
so the day I have the strength again to go even deeper and pull out something more, I will.
mhm. See, these are the poems like you journaled, and then the poems came out. As did you ever think of like turning it into a proper story? Because, like your publisher said, poems are not much read by people. People generally like to read prose, the novels, the stories.
Right. You know, if you know me at
mm,
all, you know that not in an
mm,
arrogant way, but I've never really catered to the market. Because if I try to pretend to do something that people want and play to the galleries, I lose my authenticity.
mm, mm,
I want to be able to create what's coming actually from my heart. I don't want to force
mm,
anything because,
mm,
I mean, I don't know how to do that. I'm not
mm,
equipped to do that. I'm not convinced about
mm,
doing that. This is
mm,
what came to me very naturally, very organically. Maybe prose will come to
mm,
me at some time, but I just feel I
mm,
like the flow of poetry because it's not about
mm,
grammar. It's not about,
mm,
it's just, it goes beyond writing proper English.
mm,
You know what I mean? It
mm.
goes beyond
It's just the feeling.
expressing, yeah, there's not so many restrictions on poetry,
Mm,
and I
mm,
wanted this to be unrestricted flow of, and
mm,
I even told my publisher, I said, listen, I'm a mathematics graduate. I always,
mm,
I was never a fan of English literature, but here I am with a book.
mm.
So if you feel you want to go and change some punctuation, go and do it. Fix it.
Okay,
He came back to me. He said it's not
okay,
required because he said it's not
okay.
required at all. Um,
I was thinking
you
you
know,
will
he,
say, don't edit it.
I said, people all the English literature Nazis will get upset with me. So please go ahead and punctuate it if I've done something wrong with the punctuations. I know
Mm,
grammatically, I'm not, my English is pretty okay. Thanks to my
mm,
brothers. But
mm,
I've never been a fan of literature as a
mm,
subject. So I was telling him, and he
mm,
said, no, we've checked it out, and there was really not
mm.
much to do there. I was like, देखो
Okay.
comma, full stop मैंने डाले नहीं है,
Acha.
but I've
You
put
just,
it in lines in a certain, the way I've placed it, and I've created a rhythm with it. And he said, it works.
mm,
It's got a raw rhythm to it, and we're going to leave it. And whatever punctuation you've done is absolutely fine. So I said, okay,
mhm.
you know.
That's a great thing.
But
That's a great thing
yeah,
coming from a publishers because publishers are normally
yeah,
very choosy, finicky about things, about the books they are
yeah, yeah.
bringing about.
That's
So
what they were
if
saying. They
they
said,
said that
you
to you, that
they did,
your writing must be
and
very good.
uh, well, I'll just take it as I took it as a huge compliment. I said, really? You don't have to edit and do. He said, no, we don't need to do anything. It's absolutely fine. And
Mm,
the way you've, in fact, one or two places they changed the line which was under, they brought it
mm,
up, and I said, I caught it. I said, no, it's changing the meaning.
mm,
Please put it down again. There's a reason I've
mm,
taken that word to the second line. You know, it shows an
mm,
afterthought.
mm,
So they said, which is why we
mm,
don't want to edit, because we love the raw,
mm.
untamed feeling of your writing. And
Yeah.
it creates, the writing is creating the dissonance, the writing is creating the emotion, the writing is creating the pain and the joy, and whatever it is, it's
Mm,
the way you've placed it is creating it. So we don't want to touch it. So I said, okay,
mm.
just leave it then, leave it. अगर कोई
Okay.
मुझे क्रिटिसाइज
Okay.
करेगा तो मैं देख लूंगी.
Okay. So, see, the book was out in Mumbai, I think in November.
10th of November was it, it was
Huh.
launched, yeah.
So, okay. So, in these many months, how has been the response of your readers to it, apart
Fantastic,
from your
fantastic.
friends? Okay.
But these friends also, you have to understand, we are friends because we
Mm-hmm.
have always been straight with each other. We have always had immense, we support each other tremendously, whether it's Shabana who launched my book, or, we support each other tremendously. But we also
Mm-hmm.
uh, respect each other a lot. And we're also, I mean, if you know anything of Shabana Azmi, she's not one to mince her
Mm-hmm.
words. So she was the first
I
person
know.
to receive my copy.
Mm-hmm.
एंड आई सेड, अगर शबाना ने बोल दिया कि ये, अगर आपा ने बोल दिया ये बकवास है, तो मैं इसको फेंक ही दूंगी. you know
Okay.
and so whether it's Shabana or Vidya or Dia or Konkana or whoever,
Mm-hmm.
these are people, we respect each other and each other's craft tremendously, but we're also very
Mm-hmm.
straightforward with each other.
Mm-hmm.
So, but
That's a
other
good
than
thing.
that, I've met people at airports, and it's so interesting that so many people are now coming up
Mm-hmm.
to me because they've read me, and they walk up to me,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel that they're going to again say, "Aapka ye dekha tha, wo dekha tha," and they say, and
Mm-hmm.
once a very lovely thing happened to me a couple of months ago. I was on a flight, and there was a
Mm-hmm.
girl sitting next to me, and
Mm-hmm.
mid-flight, she pulled out a book, and she had a
Mm-hmm.
bookmark in the middle of the book,
Mm-hmm.
and she said, This is what I'm reading, ma'am. And I can't believe you're sitting next to me. Please, will you sign it for me? And I literally had tears in my eyes. I was just like, oh my God, this is somewhere in December. And I was like, oh my God, it's just crazy. And then, random people from some people in the mountains, some people here, some people there started picking it up and sending me pictures. And, I actually got to know so many more people outside of the industry because of this book. And it's taken me to all the literature festivals, and I'm having such interesting conversations. I'm meeting such wonderful people, and it's really expanding something in me,
Yeah.
and it's resonating with people, So it's all that I set out to achieve, that for people to feel it, and the comments I've got from not just my friends who've called me, who've broken down, some of my really tough nut friends who never cry have called me and said, "Yeah, why? I cannot stop crying, but it's feeling so good because I think it was long overdue that I needed to break down, Sandy. Thank you. I needed to cry, And it was just, I remember when Shavana was talking on stage and she was saying, this girl has made us think, reminded us of things we had forgotten and buried, whether it's the first love or the first pain, the first heartbreak or first loss, सब कुछ कुरेद के निकाल दिया इसने बाहर, and I have really, really resonated with it. And for me, Shabana Azmi is, she's one of the toughest women I know, and she said, and then she was saying, कि ये तो हमारी ग्रुप की जोकर है, इसने तुमने ये कब कर दिया, चुपचाप ये कब कर दिया तुमने, because she's telling my mom, she said ये हमारे ग्रुप की जोकर है, ये कब ये कर गई, it's unbelievable what the so I was like, you only that thing, you all only know one side of me, the joker. But
so why do you think, Sandhya, why do you think that people generally don't like to show their vulnerable side, the weak side? Why is it so?
Because we've been told it's weak, and people have been judged on it, and there's the pressure to be strong and the definition of strong. We've given such, we think everything is linear, we think everything has only just one meaning, every word. I mean, strong does not mean you don't cry, strong does not mean you don't express or feel, but the point that the conditioning has been such, रोना नहीं, कमजोर बच्चे हो, रोना नहीं, बचपन से है ना ये अब बदल रहा है. And I think these are some advantages of social media, कि अब ये बदल रहा है और awareness बढ़ रही है और हम जैसे लोग आके बोल पा रहे हैं. Even initially when I was talking about mental health, a lot of people told, why are you writing these depressing things, Sandy? Why are you sharing these depressing things, Sandy? I said, mental health awareness is important. Depressing की बात नहीं है, ये जरूरी बात है. और ये तुम, why are you shaming me for sharing this? So, that's the conditioning, that weak is not good, strong is good. Anger is not good. Negative emotion is not good. अरे कैसे जियोगे यार तुम? गौतम बुद्ध को भी टाइम लगा था यार वहां पहुंचने में, है ना? मतलब कैसे जियोगे अगर तुम हर नेगेटिव इमोशन को जज करोगे और उससे कतराओगे और उससे भागोगे, क्योंकि जितना भागोगे वो तुम्हारे को पकड़ लेगा. And it'll come back. We cannot be ostriches to what we are feeling. And I reached a point where I said, to hell with the world and to hell with what the world thinks of me. And I thank social media because people saw the real me. Otherwise, people just had this image of, she's very cool, she's bold, she can be arrogant, and she's, very fierce, and she's very, ठीक है, वो सब भी है. But when they started, I have an extremely vulnerable and emotional side, which I was ignoring because I was also getting trapped in my own image. कि लोग मुझे ऐसे समझते हैं तो मैं यही होंगी. So I just decided to express, and I just decided to let people see it, and let people think what they want to of me. But at least I know that I'm not faking anything. Because when people saw page 3, they said, "Hey, this bold, bindas girl." Absolutely me. मेरे तो बिल्डिंग के वॉचमैन ने देख के बोला, "दीदी आप ही हो, ऊपर से आप ऐसे चिल्लाते हो, अरे गाड़ी धोएगी नहीं, आके मारूं क्या?" आप ऐसे ही बोलते हो, लेकिन and he said something very lovely to me that time. Pandit ji said to me, he said, लेकिन
Hmm.
दीदी आप जितना प्यार से और मदद करते हो और हमें खाना खिलाते हो, ये साइड तो आपका दिखाया नहीं उसमें. So I was
Hmm.
like, a lot of my friends aside saying
There is a
this to
time
me,
for everything.
there's a time for everything. There's a time for everything. There's a time for absolute acceptance of, and you have to
Hmm.
step back. You have to isolate.
Hmm.
And when this
Yeah.
book came out, a lot of people realized that it was not for
Hmm.
any other reason, but I was isolating to address something, to deal with something. And in that, if I managed to pull out a book, but it needed uh, absolute space from a lot of things and people. I had to step back for 2 years. I stepped back
Hmm.
completely from everything,
Hmm.
um, you
Hmm.
know, and to deal with my grief, to
Hmm.
not waste the pain. Pain is the
Hmm.
most powerful tool we're going to have, and I didn't want to waste it. I said, I've
Hmm.
wasted it and I've collected it, and I don't want to do this. I hope I can use it, and I hope through me other people can find a way to use it.
Hmm.
Uh, you know, and
So, are there any
that's all.
poets that are there any poets who inspire you? Are you a reader? Do you read books?
Yeah, yeah. I read a lot. I read a lot.
Hmm. So,
Um,
any
but I
favorite
have.
author, poet?
I love. Yeah, I loved.
Hmm.
I used to love reading Anayanen. I thought the
Okay.
raw, visceral writing was fearless.
Hmm.
There was courage. I loved Maya Angelou because she was again a extremely multifaceted woman uh, who
Okay.
had such a strong voice, so fearless, but so full of kindness and compassion, and and these people showed me that there are no opposites. Like
Hmm.
you can feel love and anger, you can feel
Hmm.
fierce and gentle, you can feel
Hmm.
this and that and this and that and all of it. It doesn't
Hmm.
make you a kind of, you're not one kind of person with one kind of you
Hmm.
know and these are Mary Oliver. I mean, a lot of these women, I think, I mean, some are writers, Sylvia Plath. I loved what Leonard Cohen did with his music. uh, you know
Hmm.
um, of course, I was never very good with Urdu, but my brother, who I lost, was excellent. He wrote beautiful Urdu poetry, in fact, which I want to push out and publish posthumously.
Okay.
My grandmother spoke beautiful Urdu. So my brother, since he was a kid, and my nani, they used to keep quoting Faiz, Iqbal, Ghalib to each other and have these conversations. हम सुनते थे, थोड़ी बहुत समझ में आती
Hmm.
थी, ज़्यादा नहीं. But
Hmm.
I heard a lot of that. My brother wrote
Hmm.
beautifully, so I had access to him and his immense writing. And in
Hmm.
spite of being a man, that man absolutely owned his pain and weakness and his emotions.
Hmm.
Um, Very rare for a man to do,
Hmm.
and that too of his generation. Uh,
Hmm.
you know, the younger generation today, I think men are opening up and
Hmm.
kind of connecting with themselves because it's been talked about so much. But
Hmm.
my brother really inspired me with his courage of letting people, I mean, through his poetry, letting you inside his heart, um, with with no holds barred and no pretenses. So I'm deeply inspired by him. Um,
Hmm.
I read a lot. I read all kinds of books. I love
Hmm.
reading. I'd lost that habit, but
Hmm.
putting out a book myself, I got more respect for authors, and I said, you always love reading, so now I make sure that I read
Hmm.
at least 1-2 hours a day. I read. I make time to read. Um,
Hmm.
I
So
found a bunch of wonderful.
we see you now as a like becoming a professional author.
I don't know about that. I don't know
Hmm.
about that. Like I said, I can't
Hmm.
force anything to happen.
Hmm.
Agar
But you never know. Maybe tomorrow you
no, but
come out
I'm
with
not
the.
saying no. I'm not saying no because I
Huh?
love it. I love writing. I
Hmm.
absolutely love writing.
Hmm.
Um, Hopefully one day I'll write a story. Hopefully,
Huh.
I'll write a story which is not through poetry. But this book, if you read it, this is my
Hmm.
story through poetry. In
Hmm.
It's literally
Hmm.
my life story up to now, not
Hmm.
my entire life,
Hmm.
but
Hmm.
तो बहुत लाइफ बाकी है, बहुत
Part
experiences
of life.
बाकी हैं, और किताबें
Some years of
निकलेंगी
life.
because When your
Sure,
inspiration
I'm
is
sure.
life, when your inspiration
Hmm.
is life, then there is no end of inspiration. No?
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
So
So
yeah.
let me go to your actor side of it. Like you graduated in maths, then
Hmm.
you did the PG in marketing, then you did a corporate job for some time. How did acting happen in between all this?
I always wanted to be an actor, but I avoided being an actor for a very long time. Because I
Hmm.
come from a family of lawyers, and
Hmm.
my I lost my father young, but till he was alive, he was very keen that I became a lawyer, and that I become a
Okay.
lawyer, and he was
Hmm.
coaching me from a very young age कि ये petition निकालो, ये affidavit क्या है, ये volume कौन सा है, इस case में क्या. He was keeping me involved. He was sharing his experiences at court with me and my brother.
Hmm.
Um, and I thought that's what I would become. And when I
Hmm.
lost him, I just lost that dream to become a lawyer. But I said I will not become an actor because I might let him down. So I really, honestly speaking, avoided
Okay.
being an actor for a very long time. And
Okay.
unfortunately or fortunately, I was always a good student. So I ended up
Hmm.
doing well. I ended up doing well in college, and I ended up doing well in my post graduation. I ended up doing well in the job that I went to. Uh,
Hmm.
I got promoted very quickly. I made it to the top pretty
Hmm.
quickly. It was
Hmm.
all easy. It was all very
Hmm.
smooth sailing, no stories of struggle. But the heart was not happy.
Hmm.
There was a
Okay.
yearning that I wasn't able to control. There was a yearning at the end
Hmm.
of every tiring day कि यार क्रिएट करना है कुछ वो जा नहीं रहा था. And I you're made to feel, and you also feel कि यार these are all childish things ना. मैंने जब मैं 6 साल की थी ऐसे मुझे बड़े होके हेलेन बनना है, ये थोड़ी कोई रियलिटी
हाँ,
होती है.
हाँ,
you
हाँ.
know
I know.
you also think कि ये थोड़ी कोई रियलिटी होती है. But I suddenly realized into my
Hmm.
20s that यार ये तो
Hmm.
रियलिटी है. तो जा नहीं रहा है मुझसे. ये मुझे करना है.
Hmm.
अब मैं कर
Hmm.
सकती हूँ कि नहीं कर सकती हूँ, ये मुझे पता नहीं, क्योंकि मैं कभी किसी एक्टिंग स्कूल में गई नहीं हूँ. मेरे क्वालिफिकेशंस कुछ
Hmm.
अलग ही टाइप के हैं. मेरे दोस्त हंसते हैं और बोलते हैं यू टू ओवर क्वालिफाइड टू बी एन एक्टर. यू नो
Hmm.
तेरे को फिल्म इंडस्ट्री में तो तू तेरा होगा ही नहीं. यू डोंट हैव द एप्टीट्यूड. यू आर टू ब्लंट. यू आर टू डायरेक्ट. यू आर गोइंग टू गेट नोबडी इज गोइंग टू लाइक यू. यू नॉट गोइंग टू फिट इन एंड यू वोंट ट्राई टू फिट इन. तो ये सब वार्निंग्स तो
Hmm.
ऑलरेडी थे मेरे पास.
Hmm.
बट वन डे आई जस्ट सेड नहीं यार, if I don't
Hmm.
try it, I'll regret it all my life. Let me try it now. And my
Okay.
boss was lovely. My All India boss at KLM said,
Hmm.
we've burnt you out. Because
Hmm.
I didn't tell her मैं एक्टिंग के लिए छोड़ रही हूँ. मैं बस
अच्छा.
छोड़ रही हूँ काम. मैंने क्योंकि मेरे को कुछ
Okay.
पता भी नहीं था कि एक्टिंग का काम मिलेगा कि कैसे बनूंगी एक्टर. किसी को
हाँ.
जानती भी नहीं हूँ. आई ओनली नो द कॉर्पोरेट वर्ल्ड.
Hmm.
मैं कहाँ जानती थी
Hmm.
कुछ भी. बस मुझे ये पता था कि
Hmm.
बनेगी अपनी बात मेरा फेवरेट टीवी शो है. इतना ही पता था मुझे, और कुछ नहीं पता था. एंड
Okay.
आई so it was just like, so she said to me, she said, okay, you take a break. We'll take you back
Hmm.
anytime. You're an asset. Whenever you come back, we'll take you back, Sandhya. And I was like, I'm
Okay.
not coming back. She said, it's okay. You don't have to say that. We will take you back. Go.
Hmm.
You know?
Hmm.
And then a year later, I mean, I took a break. I flew. I finally used my free tickets. I came back, and it's literally like acting fell into my lap, you know? And
Hmm.
that too, Banegi Apni Baat. My favorite TV show falls into my lap.
Hmm.
And I'm just like, oh my God, ये तो होना ही था ना. अब
Hmm.
ये तो होना ही था, you know. And then my favorite actor, Irfan Khan, directed me in the first schedule of बनेगी अपनी बात. मतलब, these are,
Okay.
I mean, I didn't even dream this. My director,
Hmm.
unfortunately, Tony got sick. Tony Singh, who was directing the show, got sick. Irfan, who was an actor on the show, was asked to direct those
Hmm.
episodes. And those were my episodes
Okay.
when I'm entering opposite Shefali.
Okay. Hmm.
So yeah, it was really, it was just shocking.
Okay. And
But it was
it was
always
a
my
smooth
dream.
journey after that, from like TV series to
It was a
then
very
to
smooth
Bollywood.
journey, but I think I have a
Hmm.
problem with smooth journeys. क्योंकि टीवी पे तो
Hmm.
कुछ मतलब खट 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 खट. I went up. I started working, doing such good work, working with
Hmm.
the best directors. I worked with some fabulous
Hmm.
directors on television. From Sudhir
Hmm.
to Anurag Basu to Nupur Asthana to Imtiaz Ali to
Hmm.
Sudhir Mishra.
Hmm.
Everybody I worked with.
Hmm.
And then आई सेड बस अब कुछ रह नहीं गया टीवी पे करने के लिए, अब ये बहू 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 का गेम चल रहा है, मेरे से नहीं होगा, आई एम बर्नड आउट, आई एम डन, आई एम टेकिंग अ ब्रेक. सो आई टुक अ ब्रेक फॉर अ ईयर, आई
Okay.
स्टॉप्ड वर्किंग एंड देन
Hmm.
साथिया केम टू मी. मैंने बोला
Hmm.
ये कहाँ से आ गई. अब मुझे तो लगा था मेरा तो एक्टिंग करियर खत्म, क्योंकि अब टीवी तो कर लिया, अब फिल्मों में मेरे को आई डोंट थिंक बॉलीवुड इज माय थिंग, आई डोंट थिंक दे लाइक मी और आई विल
Hmm.
लाइक देम. तो मेरा तो हो गया
Hmm.
शौक पूरा, अब जाओ वापस काम को नौकरी करो.
Hmm.
क्या करोगी अब,
Hmm.
फिल्मों में तो जाना नहीं
Hmm.
है. तो I went off. I think I was in the US with my Masi. I came back. I took a break again.
Hmm.
मैं ब्रेक बड़े ले लेती हूँ, भाग गई,
Hmm.
पूरा रिफ्रेश होके वापस आई तो
Hmm.
मणिरत्नम के ऑफिस से फोन आया हुआ है. मैंने सोचा कोई मजाक कर रहा है
Hmm.
मेरे साथ. नहीं, ये
Hmm.
तो बड़ा भद्दा मजाक है यार. मैंने फोन रख दिया.
Hmm.
फिर फोन आया, फिर मैंने फोन रख दिया.
Hmm.
फिर फोन आया कि यश जी बात करेंगे.
Hmm.
मैंने बोला कौन यश जी? बोले यश चोपड़ा. मैंने बोला यार ये तो दिस इज गेटिंग सीरियस. तो फिर
Hmm.
देन अ फ्रेंड कॉल्ड अप विद सैंडी, देयर आर रियल पीपल ट्राइंग टू कॉल यू. अच्छा उस समय मोबाइल आया
Okay.
ही नहीं था, आया ही आया था,
Hmm.
लैंडलाइन पे फोन आते थे, तो आई एम जस्ट लाइक व्हाट द हेल इज गोइंग
Hmm.
ऑन. यश चोपड़ा वांट्स टू टॉक टू मी. आई वेंट, आई
Hmm.
मेट यश जी. ही सेड बच्चे मैं तेरा कोशिश देखता हूँ, तू मुझे बहुत पसंद है
Hmm.
और तू ये
Hmm.
करेगी पिक्चर, मेरी पिक्चर. मैंने बोला यश जी मुझे ना फिल्में नहीं करनी. बेटा क्यों नहीं करनी, इतनी
Hmm.
अच्छी एक्टर है, फिल्में नहीं
Hmm.
करेगी तू? तो आई
Hmm.
सेड यश जी मेरे को ना आई एम टेलिंग यश चोपड़ा, यू सच अ
Hmm.
स्वीट मैन ना. मैंने इतनी बकवास की है वहां पे.
Hmm.
मतलब यश जी मुझे ना बॉलीवुड अच्छा नहीं लगता. And he
Okay.
said, "Oh, बेटा लेकिन यश चोपड़ा द डॉयन ऑफ बॉलीवुड." ही इज
Yeah.
लाफिंग. बच्चा ये यही तो तेरी बात ना मुझे बड़ी पसंद है, तू बड़ी सच्ची है दिल की. प्लीज बच्चे तू ये पिक्चर कर ले,
Hmm.
जा अभी तू मेरे डायरेक्टर से मिल, वो
Hmm.
पास में ही है उसका ऑफिस, उससे जाके तू मिल के आ, जूहू में ही है.
Hmm. Hmm.
तो मैं चली गई, वो एड्रेस दिया. अब मैं जा रही हूँ वहां पे,
Hmm.
मुझे ये एड्रेस ना बहुत फेमिलियर लग रहा है. दिस इज लाइफ. ओके, सेरेंडिपिटी कहते हैं
Hmm.
इसको. ऑल सेट टू से
Hmm.
नो कि यश जी को मना कैसे करूंगी मैं. इतने
Hmm.
प्यारे आदमी है लेकिन मुझे नहीं करनी पिक्चरें. तो ये बोल के मैं निकल,
Hmm.
मैंने बोला यार ये एड्रेस तो आई नो दिस एड्रेस, आई नो दिस. एंड आई रीच दैट प्लेस एंड आई वाज लाइक ओ माय गॉड, मैं उस घर में रह चुकी थी. When I had gone to Bombay
अच्छा.
initially in my life, when I was working with Times of India at that time, मैं एक paying guest
Okay.
accommodation में रह रही थी, and that woman was a little crazy. One day she came in a bad mood, she was drunk or something, and she threw me out of the house in the middle of the night. तो मैंने रोते रोते अपने एक दोस्त को फोन किया था. He had taken me to that house which was at that time Muzaffar Ali's house. Okay,
Oh.
and his other son Murad Ali lived there. वो उसके दोस्त था. He took me there and they said yeah you can stay here for some time till you find a place. तो मैं उस
Hmm.
घर में रही हूँ 3-4 महीने और मैं वहां खड़ी हूँ
Hmm.
और मैंने कह रही हूँ बस ये पिक्चर तो करनी पड़ेगी, क्योंकि ये तो मतलब हिसाब चुकाने की बात हो रही है यहाँ तो. मतलब
Your story
ये
is like quite
you know
a filmy story. It's not.
मैं कह
It
रही हूँ.
doesn't seem a real life
And
story.
filmy has always come to me. I'm telling you, the kind
Hmm.
of experiences I've had, there's so much serendipity in my journey. Every
Hmm.
time I've
Hmm.
shown courage, some crazy thing has happened to me. तो मैं कह रही हूँ नहीं भाई,
Hmm.
ये कर्ज है, ये तो तुमको चुकाना पड़ेगा. This house protected, saved you, took you in. But यहाँ पे
Hmm.
कौन है ये शाद करके. मैं गई अंदर तो he said, oh my god, Sandy, you're Sandhya Mridul. I'm Murad's younger brother. And I'm like, oh my god. And he's saying, come on, yeah, do my
Hmm.
film. It's my first film, yeah. And I was like,
Hmm.
okay, I don't know. I want to do films, yeah, and all that. And he said, okay, ये DVD है. It's the original.
Hmm.
I'll have
Hmm.
it. You watch it and then you call me. तो मैंने गई, मैंने फोन
Hmm.
किया, मैंने बोला यार I don't know यार and all. Then Gerji called
Hmm.
me, said, बच्चे क्या है, क्या हो गया and all. I said, नहीं सर वो मैं ना, इसे तेरे को जो करना है तू उस रोल में कर, तू अपना ले इसको, अपनी तरीके से कर. And I was like, oh my god, this is too
अच्छा.
sweet. Then I said, और फिल्म में कौन है? He
Hmm.
said, Rani Mukherjee. And I said, oh my god, I think she's fantastic. Rani and Kajol and Tabu were my favorites at that time because I thought there were three
Hmm.
actors, And I was like,
Yeah.
यार ये तो कुछ सीखने को मिलेगा रानी से.
Hmm.
बड़ी रिलक्टेंटली मैंने हाँ किया था साथिया को, लेकिन बहुत मजे आया मुझे.
Hmm.
There was a really good experience. I enjoyed myself on that set very
Hmm.
much. And
Hmm.
I really got, uh, recently somebody sent me a clip of Saathiya and I thought it was so sweet. I was like, oh my
Hmm.
God. And the first time
It
I said,
was
अच्छा
sweet.
काम किया यार. And I could
Yeah.
never see myself. और मुझे पसंद ही नहीं आई थी. मैं प्रीमियर पे कर रही थी, ऐसे कर रही थी, मेरे सीन आ रहे थे. तो जब मेरी तारीफ हुई, मैंने
अच्छा.
क्यों कर रहे हैं लोग. तो ऐसे होता था मुझे, पता है. And recently I saw
mm,
this clips and I said, I must watch myself. I must watch this film. Sit down alone and watch this film. And
mm,
so I said, I'm telling my mom, I said, this weekend, I think, Ma, Saathiya dekhte hain. She said,
mm,
अच्छा, तू अपनी
mm,
पिक्चर देखेगी? I said, हाँ. ऐसे पेस्ट्री के साथ हुआ था. मैंने लगा मुझे नहीं देखनी. ऐसे हो जाता है मुझे अपने काम से. But I
mm,
think that time I didn't like myself very much. Today I do. So I think I'm liking myself and I'm किसी ने कोशिश का क्लिप
mm.
भेज दिया. आजकल लोग कहीं कहीं से निकाल के भेज देते हैं. कोई झलक
हाँ,
दिखला का
हाँ,
क्लिप भेज देता है मुझे, uh,
okay.
and it's nice. It's been an interesting journey.
Earlier, you never watched yourself in films or TV series. You just did
I
your
never
work
liked
and
to.
then it's over.
मैं तो मॉनिटर
Okay.
भी नहीं देखती थी कभी. They used to say संध्या ऐसे नहीं, ये सर मुझसे नहीं. आप खुश हो?
Mm,
हाँ. Thank you.
mm,
I could not watch myself. Really could not watch myself. एंड आई रिमेम्बर छलका छलका की शूटिंग हो रही थी, तो सरोज खान ने बोला था,
mm.
इधर आओ.
The beautiful song.
मैंने बोला सरोज
Beautiful
जी मुझे
song.
क्यों बुला रही है? सरोज जी से तो डर लगता.
Mm,
बच्चे देख तूने क्या किया है, देख पहले शॉट में
mm,
तूने क्या किया है. और तब तक मैं
mm,
ऐसे नाची वाची नहीं थी ना प्रोफेशनल. तो देख तूने क्या किया है. आई जस्ट लुक्ड एट माई सेल्फ एंड आई
mm,
सेड, नेक्स्ट टू रानी हु वाज ट्रेमेंडस, एंड आई एम लाइक,
mm,
आई डोंट नो सरोज जी. से बेटा तू पागल है, कितनी मतलब
mm,
इतना प्यारा तूने किया है, मैं तुझे नचाऊंगी, डोंट वरी एंड ऑल. सो इट वाज जस्ट वेरी लवली,
mm,
इट वाज अ गुड एक्सपीरियंस फॉर मी.
mm,
And it was
mm.
great to work with Rani. We had great working chemistry.
You didn't know yourself.
I didn't
Maybe
know.
other
I didn't
people
like
knew
myself.
what you had in.
Uh,
Mm.
yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
never
Shamak Davar told
like.
me long back.
Mhm.
शामक दावर
Okay.
टोल्ड मी लॉन्ग बैक. जब मैं बॉम्बे आई थी ना, तो मैंने उनकी एरोबिक्स क्लास होती थी
Mhm,
ना, वो ज्वाइन कर ली थी फिटनेस के लिए. तो
mhm,
एक दिन वो वहां आ
mhm,
गए. तो
mhm,
उन्होंने बोला, ये who's this girl? So I said, some new girl she's
mhm,
come to. He said, you are a dancer. Do you know you're a dancer?
mhm.
I said, I love dancing, but he said, you're a dancer. And can
I'm not a
you
dancer.
imagine the serendipity? 15
Hmm.
years later, Shamak Davar is the judge when I'm dancing for Jhalak Dikhla Ja.
Ha.
And he said, when at the promo event, he said, be careful of this girl. And everybody was like, her.
Hmm,
By then, I was an art cinema
hmm,
actor in their mind. They said, her. And Shamak
hmm,
Davar said, you
hmm,
have no idea what this girl has got. And I'm also thinking, he's thinking of that young kid, yeah. He doesn't know.
hmm,
मतलब 20 साल बाद यार,
hmm,
he's thinking of that young kid.
hmm,
He doesn't know that I'm not danced at all since then. मैं क्या नाच लूंगी? ऐसा था.
hmm.
But imagine, he's the judge on that. And I'm looking and I'm like, what are the chances? Shamak Davar, who I was such a big fan of as a kid. It was unbelievable,
Yeah.
yeah. ऐसी
Hmm,
बड़ी प्यारी प्यारी चीजें होती हैं कभी कभी.
hmm. It's like Hanumanji. He doesn't know what he has in him till the time somebody reminds him, tells him that you got this.
I
So,
am deeply inspired by Hanumanji,
hmm.
as was my father.
so,
Hmm.
so, you said that you lost your thing to become a lawyer after your dad passed away, but your brother was also a lawyer, no?
My brother is a
Didn't
lawyer.
is a lawyer. So didn't he ever tell you that you?
He still tells me. He said, "Beta, abhi bhi kar lo. You'll
Acha,
be a damn good lawyer."
acha.
He says you can become a lawyer anytime. It's in your genes. So I was
Hmm.
like, "ये भी कर लो." He
Do
said, "ये
you?
भी कर लो. तुम कर सकती हो."
Hmm. Hmm. So do you?
Last year, strangely, Konkana told me, we were having a conversation about something. She's saying, Sandy, I'm going to say something very weird,
Hmm.
but I just feel
Hmm.
like this every time I talk to you. She said, why don't you just go back and study law? You'll be brilliant.
Hmm.
She's like, I
Hmm.
just feel you'll be a damn good lawyer. And I was like,
Hmm.
Coco, I don't feel like studying so hard now, yeah. You know?
But
But
then again, the way your life has been, you never know.
कुछ नहीं कह
Tomorrow
सकते.
you become a
कुछ नहीं कह
lawyer.
सकते.
हाँ,
कुछ नहीं कह सकते.
हाँ, कुछ
जब
नहीं
भी
कह सकते.
हिम्मत दिखाओ ना, तो लाइफ कुछ भी दे देती है.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
बस बदलने की
So
हिम्मत होनी
between,
चाहिए.
हाँ, true. So between TV and films, do you have a favorite or you love both?
I love stage the most.
Okay.
I haven't done many plays. I've done 3 plays,
Hmm.
but I enjoyed them.
Hmm.
I've last year I put out my stand up. I love I did a
Mm,
storytelling session in Delhi, which was really good,
mm,
fun. I love being
mm.
on stage. I love performing on stage. It's my favorite medium. And I hope now
And
I want to do some good theater. Really, ये मेरी ना किताब में थोड़ा है void. ये मैं करना चाहती हूँ. I
mm,
want to do, and I'm talking to a
mm.
very good actor and director about a very interesting play, and I'm very excited about it. मुझे ना ये बड़ी simple चीजें excite करती हैं.
So when you look back today at your journey and also at the industry,
Hmm.
what kind of changes do you see? It's been like more than 2 decades you've been a part of entertainment industry.
Hmm.
So how do you view the changes as?
I think that, of course, there's massive change with the OTT platforms and stuff like
Mm,
that. But
mm,
honestly speaking, we can do better.
mm,
We can do better. We have a great opportunity in OTT. We need to break
mm,
that formula now. And some shows are breaking that formula. Like I love shows like Panchayat and Mirzapur and
mm,
मतलब पंचायत तो I loved कि ऐसा यार ऐसा शो हो जिससे मन लगे और दिमाग खराब ना हो ना हर बार. You know what I mean? The
mm.
simplicity जो ऋषिकेश मुखर्जी
Simple
काम करते थे,
stories.
हम क्यों नहीं करते
Ah,
हैं वो काम? हम कर सकते
mhm,
हैं. और पंचायत और ये
mm,
गुल्लक और ये जो टीवीएफ ना कुछ बड़ा अच्छा काम करता है. And I
mhm,
love this kind of work, and I love what Lapata Ladies did, and
mm,
once in a while stuff like this comes, which is so nice. So that is very good to see. When Konkana directed Death in the Guns, what a wonderful film, and I'm so glad people got to see it. So
mm,
because at my time, what happened was after Saathiya and Page 3, unfortunately, what happened to me
mm.
was I did a film called Vaisa Bhi Hota Hai with Arshad Varsi.
Okay,
It was
okay.
a it was it was a fantastic film.
Mhm,
It was immediately slotted as art cinema. But it was a really funny
okay,
film, very well scripted and directed by Shashank Ghosh. It was a very different kind of
mm,
film. It got actually a mention in the editorial section of the newspaper, saying this is a film to watch
okay.
out for. And I fell in love with that cinema. And I was
Mm,
anyway in love with Shabana Azmi and Smita Patil and Supriya Pathak and Om Puri and Nasiruddin Shah and Amol Palekar and Deepthi Naval and Rishikesh. And I just said,
all
boss,
the
ye
art
hai na
art
kaam.
films
मैंने बोला
actors.
ये है ना काम, ये काम मुझे करना है.
Mm,
और मैंने
mm,
ऐसे टाइम पे, and at that time I remember some of my friends said, यार तू ये बेवकूफी कर रही है. Right now you're getting Bollywood interest and you are going
mm,
towards this when nobody. So I did a lot of films which got made. Some stopped halfway, some got completed and never released, never saw the time of day. Some were with Irfan, some were with KK, some were with Prashant. Some
mm,
really, really good films. And that is the change I see today, which makes me happy. At least they are being
mm,
heard of. At least international festivals are taking them. At least they are
mm,
getting some visibility. Yes, our halls are
mm,
still not watching them. They're
mm,
not doing well, maybe in commercial in that. क्योंकि वो
mm,
बॉलीवुड स्पेस ही रहेगा. But at least they're getting out
mm,
there. मेरी ना 10-12 फिल्में यार जो मैंने इतने मतलब I can't tell you the kind of roles I played in them. एक में I'm playing a bar
mm,
dancer slash prostitute, and you can't tell whether she's a bar dancer or she's a prostitute, and parallel narratives are running between an innocent girl and forced. And I did another this thing film where I played an alcoholic. I did another film where I played a bipolar mute girl. I did some tremendous roles, but those films never came out.
mm,
So
mm,
today, that's good to know. At least we hear of these films. Like a film
mm,
like Santosh, my friend Shahana is in it.
mm,
Everybody knows कि संतोष एक अच्छी फिल्म है. एक
mm,
इंटरेस्टिंग फिल्म आई है संतोष करके, पता है ना
mm,
सबको.
mm,
And it's getting seen. So
mm,
that is the difference, and that is wonderful to see. That is wonderful. Like
mm,
Angry Indian Goddesses, 15 years ago,
mm.
we would have not,
You couldn't think of.
because that time we were not even connected to international festivals. We were not.
Yeah.
Today the world has become so much smaller.
Mm,
You know,
mm,
so that's something wonderful to see. That's wonderful to see that
mm,
if something is good, and even if it doesn't get visibility in this country, it gets visibility in other country, in other
mm,
places where it's appreciated. Angry Indian Goddesses
mm.
swept the awards. we
Yeah,
went we were we won so many
that
big
was a
awards
lovely movie.
internationally.
Lovely movie. I watched
and
it.
it was a part of my soul in that film, so I'm just
Hmm.
saying कि ये चीजें इन चीजों से बड़ी खुशी होती है कि ये पहले
Hmm.
नहीं होता था, तो ये है,
Hmm.
but I just still feel that the
Hmm.
creators can do better. We must break the formula and bring in more good actors and work around
Hmm.
that.
Hmm. Hmm. And how about OTT?
That I'm talking about OTT
OTT
only.
platform.
OTT
Hmm.
only I'm talking about mainly, because
Hmm.
बॉलीवुड तो
Hmm.
बॉलीवुड फिल्में ही बनाएगा, और जो
Hmm.
दूसरी फिल्में, अच्छी फिल्में जो जैसे लापता लेडीज
Hmm.
हैं, वो भी बनेंगी,
Hmm.
बट वो इतनी
Hmm.
नहीं बनेंगी। एंड आई जस्ट
Hmm.
होप कि वो और बने, और वो और बने, और
Hmm.
क्योंकि हमारी ऑडियंस जो है ना वो देखना चाहती है,
Hmm.
और उन फिल्मों को प्रमोट करना बहुत जरूरी है। But I'm at
Hmm.
least glad that Kiran made that beautiful film, that it was seen. I loved
Hmm.
it. And
Yeah.
so many nice things one is getting to watch now,
Hmm.
you know. So it's
So,
interesting. It's
so
nice.
yeah. So are you busy with some film project these days?
Yeah,
You
I'm
said you
shooting
are
after two
okay.
years. I'm shooting. I can't talk about it at all.
That's okay.
I was shooting out of the country.
So
I've
you
just
are
come back. It's a very interesting
hmm,
role and a very interesting film. So yeah,
okay. So you're doing a film. You're planning a stage play, and you are also hopefully coming out with your next book of poems, the ones that are left out from Untamed.
and
So
some
when
more.
do you get free time? Do you get free time anytime?
No, I make sure that I have free time. That is something I changed
Okay.
in my life many
Hmm.
years ago. Slowly, slowly, slowly,
Okay.
slowly, I made that change. In fact, I
Hmm.
moved away from Bombay. I moved to Delhi to be closer to my
Hmm.
mom,
Hmm.
to be around her. And I make sure, like I said to you, I do not, if I'm not working, I do not reply to calls before 10:30, 11 in the morning. I do not look at my phone unless it's my mom.
Hmm.
I do not take calls after 7 p.m. I don't encourage, I don't get into WhatsApps and stuff like that. I spend time reading. I spend time with my dog.
Hmm.
I do yoga. I take my time. ये लाइफ
Okay.
वर्क बैलेंस ना मैं बहुत जल्दी सीख गई थी।
Okay. That's a good
बहुत
thing.
जल्दी सीख गई थी। बहुत जल्दी
That's
सीख
a
गई
good
थी ये
thing.
मैं। Because I
Hmm.
lost a lot of people growing up, you know,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
I understood the meaning of life. And I understood the meaning of
Hmm.
spending time with people you love. And that's the other reason I moved
Hmm.
here, because my family's here, my cousins are here, my mom, mainly Ma is here, and
Hmm.
I just wanted to spend more
Be
time
with
again.
them.
And I felt this was a new journey. It was time for a new journey to begin, so yeah.
Yeah. So, Sandhya, as we come to the end of this session, I want you to give one advice to the upcoming actors.
Hmm. I would I would just say, don't look badly at struggle, because this is not
Hmm.
an easy place to be. So don't talk badly or think badly of struggle. Take it as the work that is needed to be done to get somewhere. Because we all
Hmm.
look at struggle as such a bad word. But if you believe that, okay, these are the steps that are leading me to something good, you can survive it. You can remain relevant for a long time. And do not compare yourself to anyone. Do not compare yourself to anyone at all. Your journey is very different from everyone else. And
Hmm.
comparison is only demeaning yourself and bringing yourself down. And these are two things that I absolutely believe in.
Hmm. So, on that note, thank you so much for talking to us. And
Thank you.
I had such an entertaining talk with you. I never
Thank you.
expected it. I thought I thought you won't be
Sandhya is very
that
serious.
talkative, but yeah, yeah. So I'm happy. I'm glad that you talked so much, and thank you so much. And I
Thanks,
wish
yaar.
you all the
My
best.
mother used to pay
Mm,
me as a kid to stop talking. Pata hai?
mm. Okay, okay, okay. So thanks a lot,
Anyway,
Sandhya,
thank
and I
you.
wish
Thank
you
you very
all the
much.
best for
Thank you so
tomorrow's
much.
launch and all your projects.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.